I'm Curtis Smith, and we're back at the Botanic Garden with Melissa Topia. Melissa, this Scotch broom is just about finished blooming. Is something we ought to do to it now because of that?
Well, there's a couple of things you can do. Some of these are really far done being bloomed, so you could just brush some of these off right here, and that would take a lot of them off. Or you could also just nip a couple of inches off.
A little bit of deadheading.
A little bit of deadheading. But there's also some of the branches that don't have any leaves on them. So what I would recommend is coming right down to the nicest set of leaves you see and just pruning off this old growth on the top.
Just above one of the growths that are coming out, so it'll look nice.
And then that would promote new growth to come.
Yeah, I see some kind of died back, so they're going to be real good indicators that you ought to be pruning.
And that's it, just nip a little bit of it back.
While you're at it, you may notice you've got some dead wood in the heart of the plant. And that's the good stuff to remove.
Yeah, I would just go down, find right at the very end where it's turning green, and cut right above it. And just remove that dead growth. Also, if this gets a little too big, you can go straight down. For instance, this one down here, if it's getting into your other flowers that are planted around it, you can come all the way down to the end here and just cut the whole branch off.
That lets the other flowers grow.
Right, and that'll let the other flowers grow and shape it up a little.
And since this is a spring bloomer, it's kind of like the lilacs, it's one that you ought to do. You know, we've got other plants that are going to need deadheading too. You've got a Jupiter's beard over here. Let's go see what we do to that one.
See that one.
Melissa, this Jupiter's beard is looking pretty nice, but I see it's beginning to decline.
Yeah, there's a couple of flowers that we could probably deadhead off some of these stems to promote these other flowers, flower buds that are going to bloom and give them more room.
So doing this, it gets more bloom a little longer too.
Exactly. It'll bloom a lot longer. It has more energy.
So how would you do this one right here?
This one right here, what I would do is take it right down to this node here.
I can see the little flower buds forming in here.
Exactly, they're forming right there. So what I would do is come in and cut right above the node there.
So leave them ready to go.
Leave them ready to go. Lots more flowers will come out.
You've got a bunch to do here, and after you finish deadheading, what would you do to this?
Well, I would recommend giving this plant, and a lot of the plants in the landscape that are going to be blooming throughout the summer, some food, some fertilizer.
So you fertilize in the xeriscape?
Fertilize in the xeriscape. And we usually use an Osmocote, a slow-release fertilizer.
Okay, that's little round pellets that slowly release the nutrients in the soil as you irrigate.
As you irrigate.
So it's not going to release a lot at one time and burn them.
Correct.
And so how would you apply it?
I would just come down in and get pretty close, especially with the plants that have emitter heads on them. You would want to get close down into the base of the plant and put it all around, use a recommended dose on the package, and every time it waters, a couple of the little capsules will break and fertilize the plant for probably about a month.
And I see we've got some weeds here in the garden, something that you're always going to have in a garden, even in a xeriscape. This is a good time to be cleaning up the weeds too.
Yes.
So let's go look at those. Well, Melissa, here you've got another clump of Jupiter's beard that has a bigger problem than just some fading flowers.
Yes, it does. It has bindweed growing right under it and around it.
One of our really bad weeds.
It can be a big pest in the garden. It can even choke out a plant that it's growing on.
It's got it all bound up and it's in here. It's stealing sunlight from a lot of it. It's a problem. What do you do?
It's a big problem. Well, what I would recommend right now, it growing so close and interwrapped into this plant, is hand pulling it. Maybe using a little shovel, getting up underneath there, and pulling it out from around the plant.
There are some herbicides that would work, but they could damage this plant. It's possible to use them very carefully, painting it only onto the leaves of the plant you want to kill. If it's a translocated herbicide, it'll move down into the ground and kill the root system. But it can also kill this plant if you get it on the leaves of this plant. Now, some are not active in the soil, so if you apply it only to the leaf, it's going to be safe. One of the glyphosate herbicides like Roundup would be good. But you have to be persistent because it's not going to kill it all. Pulling it, using chemicals, rototilling, you've got to be persistent for a long period of time and get it all.
Right.
If you leave a little bit, the green stuff feeds that root. You've got to keep starving that root. Melissa, thank you so much for showing us what to do this time of the year in the xeriscape.
You're welcome.